So, this is part three of the series Weight Loss Mistakes I've Made. So, the third weight loss mistake I've made that I would like to highlight is emotional eating. For the longest time and decades, okay, for most of my life until maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I really couldn't identify or recognize anyhow that a lot of my eating was attached to my emotions. And was something that my mom used to tell me when I was a teenager. And I say, Mom, there's nothing to do. Like, that's crazy. It doesn't even make sense. Like, to me, it didn't make any sense. And I don't know how I was able to finally figure that out, even though I've been told before, but I never clicked. I never noticed. And I cannot pinpoint when I started to notice. But at one point, I eventually became aware that a lot of my eating was driven by emotion. And it can be any emotion. I could be anxious, I could be sad, I could be bored, especially bored. I could be happy. Any emotion is a reason to eat. So it wasn't until I started detaching emotions from eating that I started to see some progress in my weight loss. And one thing that helped me, and it may seem weird, but it did, is that in the beginning, I would recognize the emotion. Say, I'm eating right now because I'm upset. I'm eating right now because I'm tired. I'm eating right now because whatever, fill in the blank. I would still eat, but I would always start, that was the starting point for me, recognize the emotion. And then eventually, as I started making progress in my weight loss, and when I was reaching out for food and I realized, no, I'm eating because I'm upset. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to, you know, lose all the work that I did just because I'm upset right now. So one thing that did definitely empowered me was starting name the emotions. And then eventually it came from naming the emotions to actually deciding not to eat because of that emotion. And another thing that I did to cope that has helped me tremendously is been having a happy list. So a happy list is just basically pretty much anything that I like to do, anything that I love doing it, that I could do instead of eating when I'm triggered to eat by emotion, not physical hunger. And that is one of the signs too. Like, say I had dinner now and then 2 hours later I'm so hungry. I'm not hungry. I just had dinner 2 hours before. It is because of emotion. Then what is that emotion? But then having the happy list that I can cope, something that I can do instead of eating. And those things vary from walking my dogs, calling a friend, cleaning my house, going to get a manicure. I have like a whole reading, listening to music, a whole bunch of things that I can do instead of eating. And it's funny because for me, when I recognize the emotion and decide to do something else, I tell you, 20, 30 minutes, the hunger goes away. It goes away because it was triggered by the emotion. So I think that the mistake is to let your emotion drive your eating. Given use eating as a soothing mechanism for your emotions. So that's been a huge mistake that I've made for years, 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 years. And ever since I started to get a hold of this, it has helped me. So, have you been triggered to eat by your emotions? Are you an emotional eater? And I realize this is something that I'll have to deal with for the rest of my life. Because some people drink, some people smoke, some people have anger issues, and that's how they cope with their emotions. For me, it's food, right? Or has been food. So I always need to be aware of that, of not letting it get the best of me and keeping that in check. So that's what it comes down to, getting a hold of your emotions and not eating because of your emotions, but just because you're physically hungry. All right, so I hope this helps somebody out there so then they'll have to make the mistake as I did for years in and out. You can start recognizing how your emotions trigger your eating right now, and start having being empowered by that. Just the awareness of the emotion that's going to empower you to decide to do something different and not let the emotion drive you to eat. All right. So see you in the next mistake. Bye bye.